Oh, construction champions. It's your host, Ron Nussbaum, and we're here for another amazing episode of Construction Champions Podcast, where we're burning the damn house down and we're rebuilding it. And we're talking about your business, your personal life, your employees, everything around it. Because your business doesn't just function as being a business. You have to be a champion at every aspect of your life in order to actually create a successful business. So your employees want to talk to you. So, your wife or significant other want to go on vacations with you. That shit matters today. And that's why we're here. And as always, I bring amazing guests because you guys just don't show up for Ron Nussbaum. It's amazing that I might think I am sometimes. I know the facts, and the facts are you guys are here for our guests. And today we have another rock star guest. Evan, it is fantastic to have you here today.
Happy to be here. Excited.
Awesome, man. Why don't you take a minute, tell all the construction champions out there a little bit about yourself? What got you here to today?
For sure. So I started in the trades. Actually, I was hit up by a headhunter. I was in sales, doing direct sales. They asked me to come sell HVAC equipment. So I started as a comfort advisor 10 years ago. Started with a company in Edmonton, Alberta. So I am Canadian. Sorry about that. Yeah, it was a fun ride working there in the office. But one of the things that frustrated me as a comfort advisor is I actually got paid less on Home Depot leads, which was majority of the calls that we were running for sales calls. And so I quickly started poking holes in the business because that's just one of my strengths. I love to do it. My team hates me for it now because that's usually what I'm doing is poking holes in the business. But yeah, I got obsessed with trying to help this company get out of Home Depot leads because they were incredibly expensive, as many of your construction listeners are probably well aware of. They're great leads. You can work them really well. And as long as you can staff the store, you can generate business out of it, but they're expensive. So between the man hours and then the dollars that go back to the store. But it's 2014 at this point. Facebook ads are dirt cheap. Google ads are dirt cheap compared to what it is that they cost today. And so I started asking, like, why aren't we generating leads through this? Why aren't we doing these other things? And is it okay if I just start generating my own leads? Because I'd rather get that extra 3% commission instead of giving it to Home Depot. So they said, yeah, fill your boots. Good luck with it. The next week, I filled my schedule with all of my own referral appointments and had zero room for any of their Home Depot leads. Which frustrated them and excited them because now they saw the possibility that there could be other opportunities out there that would generate leads at a much more affordable rate. And then also frustrated them because they had these leads that were coming in but had no one to give them to. I was only working part-time at the company at the time because I was just dabbling in it. I wanted to see if I was actually good at sales or if it was just the product that I used to sell, which was Cutco knives. That I was good at selling it versus actually sales. And I came into the company and I was number one by average across the company, but there was one other guy that sold more than me just because of the amount of hours that he was working. But I had a blast there. I enjoyed it a lot, but I got hooked right away on the marketing side of things. Was fascinated with the idea of being able to grow a business and impact a business, not just by selling something, but by bringing in volume so that everyone could go and sell. And so I got into the marketing side of things, started doing some print magazines that were local to the community. Of course, print is a dying art and usually not something that you would start in 2015, but I did. And I did really well at it. I enjoyed it, but eventually started our digital company in 2020. And that's where we're at today. On Purpose Media is the name of our marketing company. And then we have a podcast, HVAC Success Secrets Revealed, where we try to peel back the curtain and unveil the secrets that have led to the success of a lot of businesses in the industry.
Awesome, man. Well, I'm excited for our conversation here today. And we're going to dive right in there. We're going to ask the $1,000,000 question, and that is what makes a construction champion?
Introducing BuilderComms, the future of construction management. Built by industry veterans, Our platform simplifies your workflows and boosts efficiency. From field operations to leadership, we've covered it all to help you sleep better and enhance your projects. With BuilderComms, expect reduced errors, save time, and exceptional outcomes. Join the thousands of builders and contractors revolutionizing their processes and achieving greatness. Discover more about us at buildercomms.com.
In my mind, it's strong values, integrity, humility, an abundance mindset. I think that's really what formulates a champion in my mind. When I think of humility, I do think of someone like Michael Jordan. And humility in his mind was never, you know what, Scotty, why don't you take the last second shot here to try and win the game? Humility in that sense, it still meant he was the best person to take that shot and he was willing to bear the burden if it didn't go in.
Mm.
And so humility is not simply allowing everyone else to do things within the business. It's knowing your strengths and being able to play within that box. Integrity, you do what you say it is that you're going to do, and you just follow through. And then an abundance mindset. I mean, that's why you have this podcast. That's why we have our podcast. It's being able to share the best practices across the industry and know that there's enough business out there for everyone. You know, I learned early on in my sales career that you could give away 95 or 100% of your secrets. 95% of the people are not going to implement them anyways. So you may as well give it to everyone, because then people at least feel good about you. And the 5% that are going to implement it, we're going to figure it out anyways. So you may as well help them along so that you can reap the benefits of having a great relationship with them.
I love that. And I mean, that ties right into what we were talking about prior to hitting the record button here, is that implementation, like integrity, humility, abundance mindset. Like, these are some values that come really standard to guys in the construction industry. Like, this is some of the backbone of what guys believe out there. It's just who they are. But we really do see a lack of implementing that into people's businesses and actually living that from a business side of things. And even though that might be who we are, but that we see it too often, where the exactly what you're talking about, just 95% of the people are like, well, those are my values, but like, I don't have to bring that into my business. And that's wrong.
Well, and that's where the integrity piece comes in, right? Being able to follow through on those things. And uh, the other thing that I want to point out is that I don't think it's most business owners' fault. Like, they're swamped. There's so many different hats that they're wearing. And in some cases, they're still in the truck. They're still out there running calls. They're still answering the phone. And it's difficult balancing running the business and still generating the business sales and revenue today. They're two completely different positions. And even when you think of most business owners in construction, they came from the trade. They were a technician. They were on the tools. And so transitioning into that business owner seat is an entirely different trade. It's an entirely different skill set to be able to lead people and guide people and then hire people and then run the financials and run marketing. Like, there's so many different things that you're doing within the business. Oh, and by the way, go build SOPs for every single practice within your business, right? Like, there's just so much that's being asked of them. It's difficult to be able to do that. And the ones that do find success, it's the ones that are able to delegate efficiently and properly and learn from their mistakes, but learn quickly.
Yeah. And that's just the construction industry. Like, we're an industry where the barrier of entry is really low. And if you're really good at something, next thing you can be the guy that owns the business out there doing it. But a lot of times we don't think about all the stuff that you just mentioned that comes with
Right.
that, and learning that and learning to delegate. I mean, that's where the great businesses have come from, are the people that can delegate that off and understand, like, here's what I'm really, really good at. Like, I've met guys that are really, really good at in the truck, and they went and hired a CEO to run the business because they're like,
Right.
this is like, I'm my best being out in the field, but I don't want to do it for somebody else. I want to do it for my own business. and they went and found people that are good at that side. Or for a lot of us, it's the sales and marketing side, where we have to, how do we quickly delegate this and move this off of our plate so we can do what we're really good at?
Well, and delegating intentionally and intelligently is important. When it comes to marketing, like that's one of the things that most guys will delegate pretty quickly. Because you can hire a marketing agency anywhere. And by the way, you say lower barrier to entry. There's nothing lower than the marketing industry, especially digital marketing. If you've got a laptop, congratulations, you're a digital marketer, right? Like it's it's kind of ridiculous, which is where it's and I was having this conversation with someone last week. It's really, really silly that marketing is the one industry where a contractor is willing to write a check almost expecting it not to work out. Like imagine if the homeowner wrote you a check to come in and clean their drains, to come in, remodel a bathroom, to replace their air conditioner, knowing full well that at the end of the job, it wasn't going to be working. That's what's happened with the marketing industry. And I don't blame contractors for that. It's marketers that have just a low standard when it comes to over delivering for clients and being able to step up, and then also having these same core values of integrity and humility and all of that. But yeah, it's when you're delegating your marketing, as one example, to be intelligent with it, to say, I don't need to know how to post on a Google business profile, or I don't need to know how to build a website, but I do need to own what it is that's on the website. I need to make sure that the content that's on there is my voice. It is the correct information, right? It's owning the 30,000-foot view so that you can hold your marketer accountable.
I love that. And I'm going to pivot the conversation a little bit, because you brought up a fantastic point, and I'm sure everybody listening has had 100 Facebook messages this week from somebody trying to get them 10 to 15 more leads, if they can handle them. The key,
Right,
yeah,
of
the
course.
key is, can you handle these leads that we're going to provide you? And you're a great guy. You do things the right way. And for the guys out there listening, what are the red flags? What should, if they're wanting to get marketing off of their plate, and like you said, there's plenty of places you can go, what should they be looking for to make sure they're making a decision that is a long-term effective decision for their business?
One, do you own your stuff? Right? Who owns the material? Are they going to run the ads in their ad account, or are they going to run it in yours? Are they going to own your domain, or do you still own it and you just give manager access to it? So that's number one for me. You need to own everything.
Is that common in the, like, do most guys not own their stuff? Is that?
It's becoming less and less common because it's getting called out so much, but it still does happen. It was just a couple of weeks ago, we brought on a new client. We were trying to get access to their Google business profile, and they didn't own it. And then we found out they didn't own their domain. And then we found out they didn't own their Facebook page. Like literally their entire online presence, they didn't own it. It was in the hands of their previous marketer. And thankfully, they happened to have they were a company they had some integrity. And so they transferred everything over. We took ownership of it for a half second, and then we transferred it to the business owner. We just wanted to be able to handle that process so that we made sure that they could take ownership of everything.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's crazy.
You need to own your stuff. It is crazy to think about, but it's something we see far too often. And now you're handcuffed. And if they happen to be a shitty company, and I don't know if we can curse on here or not. I hope
Absolutely.
so. I mean, it's the trades.
Not gonna hurt my feelings.
That's part of my being in integrity. I curse sometimes. So, but yeah, it's just being able to own your shit. Like it's so important. So that's number one. Number two, do they work in this industry? When we first started our marketing company, we started as like a local company, and we worked with every different type of company. We worked with financial guys, plumbers, HVAC, electrical, home builders, who else we work with in the beginning, pet store, right? So we specialized in the local market. We understood the city of Edmonton, the city of Calgary really, really well. But we had to learn your industry over and over and over again, except for HVAC and plumbing, because I came from being a comfort advisor. I knew it. So we got quick results there. We said, screw this, let's stop this and just focus on the trades that we actually know and the businesses that we actually know. Why are we trying to build a financial website when there's all these hoops that we have to jump through in order for compliance and all this BS? So that's why we dove into the trades and said, like, these are our people. We don't want to wear suits. We want to wear a collared shirt, like a golf shirt or a hoodie or whatever. We want to be able to curse. We want to wear hats. Like, that's who we are. That's our personality. And that's, we fit in perfectly there. And that's why we did it. But make sure that the marketing company specializes in your trade, that they've worked with companies like yours before. Do they understand your situation? Do they speak the language? When we're having a call with a prospective client, we're asking what their average ticket is. We're asking how many trucks they're running. We're asking what the revenue per truck is, right? Do they understand the industry on a deep level? And are they able to integrate with the process that you already have? Or are you going to have to relearn everything in order to generate the leads from them and pick up the leads from them? So
I agree
those are
with
some of
that,
the
'cause
early red flags.
that's one of the questions I ask when I get people referred to me for the show all the time. And I'll go on
Yeah.
their website and it won't seem like as construction-esque as, and I always
Right.
ask, like, well, why construction? Like, why? Because is this just an add-on to what you're doing because you see there's opportunity, there's money to be made in this, or
Right.
like, do you understand the construction industry and do you have relevance in that? Like you said, it just naturally you were able to get results because you've been there, you've done it. And I think that kind of stuff matters a lot more than what we give it credit for.
Right.
It's really
Well,
amazing.
and for us, it changed the conversations we were having too, because we were able to say to a contractor, like, well, walk me through your sales process here. So we send you the lead. Your CSR missed, 32% of the calls last week. So that there's an issue there. There's a leak that we have to fix there. But what happens next? Like when the dispatcher picks up the call and now schedules it, are they following up with the client? Are they sending text messages? Are they communicating with your technicians to make sure that that transition goes smoothly? Like, walk us through the whole process here. And we start finding all these holes. Again, coming back to what it is that I love to do is poke holes in things. Being able to find all these holes, and then now we can figure out, hey, if we can fix a 2% improvement here, and then another 2% here, and then another 2% here, and you do that all the way up the funnel, all of a sudden you're growing your business by 30, 40, 50%. Guys think that we just need to get the phone ringing 50% more in order to grow the business. But if we make incremental improvements all the way through the process, we ended up getting that exponential result.
Yeah, and then that's way overlooked because, like you just said, it's like people think it is phone ringing, lead coming in, but like, what does it look like when that lead comes in? What happens? Because that's the stuff that really matters. Like getting the phone to ring, you can go to a company and get the phone to ring as much as you possibly want. If they don't know what the hell to do with that lead when it comes in, or if they just don't have a system in place, it does not matter how much that phone
Correct.
rings because you're not going to
Correct.
close those leads.
Yep. And that's some of the real conversations that we have with companies when it comes to, like a meta ad, Facebook or Instagram. You get high quantity there, but low quality. So it's a lot of filtering, it's a lot of follow-up, and it's a cheaper lead, so it takes more time to work it. Do you have the right system to do that? No? Okay, then we're not going to run those leads because you're just going to lose money. Even on the Google side, they're really expensive. So you get less volume, but higher quality. They're at the bottom of the funnel, right? They're looking for plumber near me, electrician near me, home builder near me, right? It's intent-based searches that people are looking for these services. So it costs more. Google understands that this is the bottom of the funnel. They know that. So with that increased cost, we need to make sure that you're going to be profitable. If a water heater call is not going to be as profitable as a drain cleaning call for your business as a plumber, well, then we need to make sure that we're running ads appropriately and we're not overspending on a service that is not going to be profitable for you.
See, this is why it's so important to work with people that understand the industry and what exactly you're doing. Are you still there? The screen went black. You there? Oh, no volume.
There we go.
There we go. See, this is what happens when you get a couple guys from the construction industry together and we decide to record, use a bunch of technology to record a podcast. I love it.
The camera died on me, and so the mic was attached to the camera too. And yeah, here we are.
It's all good, man. But what I was saying was like, this is why it's so important to vet whoever you're going to bring into your business. It's hiring out a service. It's just as important to vet them as if you were hiring somebody to come into your company and do that, because there's ramifications that come with this.
Well, and ideally you're building towards that anyways, right? And I guess it's important to backtrack on that statement a little bit, to know what it is, what type of business you want to run, right? Not everyone is built to run a 10, 20, 30, $50 million outfit. And so, we see on social media, especially the Facebook groups and things like that, all the hype, all the rah, like go crush it, hustle mindset, hustle culture, all this bullshit. And that doesn't fit everyone. Maybe you want to be the business owner who is there for your kids more than they're in the business. And they're there for their family more than they're in the business. And so running a $2 million, a $3 million outfit is the perfect lifestyle for them. Fantastic. So that's number one. Understand what type of business that you want to run. But ideally, you do get to a point where you have some of these marketing services in-house, starting with social media, because no one can replace your technicians on camera talking to homeowners.
I love it. I mean, that's what you just said is something I have said on here so many times. And like, it is just not about scaling to scale to do 25, 50 million in revenue. Like, what is it that you want from every aspect of your life, and then getting there, and then just maintaining that? Or it has to continue to grow a little bit every year just to keep up with everything. But it's not about 20%, 20%, 20%, or 100% every 5. Like these numbers that are thrown out there that people like, they're just chasing to chase. So like you said, they can go on Facebook and it all sounds all cool and everything, but they're completely miserable. Their kids don't know them. They just went through a divorce, and boom, bada bang, here we are. I'm doing 30 million a year though.
Right. Well, and even further than that too is I had a conversation with a guy. It was a couple of years ago. He came on our podcast, and he had two friends that sold their business. They were in the HVAC and plumbing space. One guy had a $50 million business. One guy had a $10 million business. The one guy had 5 times the profit at the $10 million than the guy at 50 million. They sold for the same amount. The amount of headache and struggles and problems and challenges in the business that $50 million business had was 5 times greater, but for the exact same outcome. Right. So getting, again, like you said, really clear on what it is that you want out of your business. Jim Rohn talks about, had I known what chasing some of those early goals would have cost me, I never would have paid the price.
Love it, man. I love it. You're doing great things. You're definitely, like I always like to tell our guys, like you're out here with the heart of the industry in mind and doing the right thing by the industry. And I love that. I love to see that. That is what matters. It's why I do my podcast. And, for all the champions out there listening, if they wanted to connect with you, follow you, learn more about what you guys do at your company, what's the best ways for them to do that?
I mean, you can look us up on any social media channel, On Purpose Media. You can go to our website, onpurposemedia.ca. But one of my favorite things that we're pushing a little bit more right now is our second opinions. It's not meant to be a sales pitch. There's no sales pitch attached to it. There's none of that BS. It's meant to arm contractors with some information so that they can have a deeper level conversation with their current marketing company. And if that doesn't happen to go anywhere, we'd love to be part of the conversation after the fact. So if you go to onpurposemedia.ca/second-opinion, I can throw you that link. You can fill out the form on there. Again, it's not a sales pitch. We're not going to push you into anything. That's not our style. We want to add as much value as possible. That's why we got the podcast as well, which you can also check out, HVAC Success Secrets Revealed. It will be rebranding here shortly so that it's more generalized to all of the trades and not focused on just HVAC, but that's where we got our start. So that's why we started with that.
Awesome, man. Thank you. Yeah, and we'll make sure to drop that link in the show notes. And thank you for taking the time to be on the show today, man.
Appreciate you, Ryan. Look forward to having you on the show in a couple of weeks.
Awesome. All right, Construction Champions, another episode in the bag. And a free asset. You guys know how fired up I get when our guests come on here and give away a free asset that you can go utilize for this to go figure out what your marketing look like. The company you're working with, like the questions we should be asking, because chances are we probably didn't get too educated before we went out and hired whoever we're currently working with. And in today's age, that can be a problem. Like when Evan talks about not even owning any of your stuff, I've ran into guys that they're in that position, and I'll tell you the story he told about how nice it went. I've heard a lot of the opposite, where it does not go that nice and big price tags get put on stuff, and you want to make sure that you're covering your ass on everything. Like, think about it. Like, what if, God forbid, you got hit by a truck? Somebody else has got to step up. Maybe a family member steps up, and then like you don't even own your website and stuff or any of this. It's not even owned by your business. This is all stuff that as business leaders we need to handle. Just because it's construction doesn't mean we have the right to not handle it. Like I say, just because it's a construction business doesn't mean we're not a business. First, we're a business. We just happen to do construction work. So make sure you cover your ass. Go get the second opinion. Like I said, I always love that when guests come on, they offer free resources, because that's what it's about. It's about getting the knowledge out there. It's about asking the right questions, because I'll tell you, I haven't looked at it, but that resource that Evan's given out, I guarantee you it has questions on there that you would never think about to ask. And that's what's important, because that's how we grow, and that's how we get the right people around us and the right companies doing the stuff we need to have done. So Construction Champions, make sure you check out all of our fantastic sponsors. And until next time, be the champion you were meant to be.
Introducing BuilderComs, your all-in-one construction communication software. Say goodbye to communication mishaps that cause frustration among builders, contractors, and clients. The BuilderComs platform unifies communications, making it easy for you to chat, share updates, and collaborate effectively in one place. Experience the transformation in construction project management with BuilderComs. Visit us at buildercoms.com to learn more and start streamlining your projects today.